was decent.
All right, everyone, we have our next round coming up. It is going to be Firesplitter with Bleed 2. Firesplitter, the stage is yours. Best of luck on your run.
Thank you very much. Hello everyone, welcome to this Bleed 2 run. We are going to play New Game Easy today, which is a pretty simple category, very beginner-friendly category in an otherwise kind of rough game to speedrun, because it has a lot of skill caps. So in this run, we are going to exploit a little thing that calls dash resetting a lot. It's like one of the main tricks in this game. It's one of the things that are better explained by showing... too early start there. But yeah, I was gonna count down, so it's time we can start. 3, 2, 1, and start timer now! So the dash resetting thing is, as I said, something we are better gonna show in action. Basically, we have 3 dashes every time when we play. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 there was a dash reset.
That's Fire, actually, if you could reset, we had a problem.
Oh, you had a problem. Okay, I reset. Sorry. Tell me when I can start again.
All right, all set when you are.
What?
We're ready when you are.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, and start. So the thing with the dash resetting is that it is some specific rules that has to be applied to have it happen. It's basically a thing, you have 3 dashes every time you are doing this thing in the air. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But if you are falling off an edge or something, or going up a slope, you can actually reset the dashing, as you can make the game think you have fulfilled the condition of landing, which allows you to do a lot of dash resetting in a row, which we saw earlier in the run. And here comes the first real mini-boss of the run. On this fight, it's very important we get the time slow motion there to do an animation skip that otherwise takes several seconds. And here comes the first real big boss. Blast Jumper. So this boss fight is pretty easy, but there are a couple of mechanics to watch out for. That one, for example. And, we have perfect RNG there. The boss basically has 3 main mechanics it can do. That dash, and a short flyaway, and a longer flyaway. We don't want a longer flyaway, because that means the boss is off screen for a very, very extended period of time. Which is kinda very much of a time loss. It's very, very much of a time loss in the run, which actually does matter a lot if you're going for world record paces. But on a casual run like this, it's not really that much of a concern. You are losing 3 to 4 seconds maximum to it, but it's still very, very good to get the dash. Always good to get the dash. The bullet shoots, it has like, I don't know how high chance it has to happen, but it happens sometimes. It doesn't happen sometimes. I think it's a 50-50. And this is the second boss. On this boss fight, we want him to turn purple again. That's basically something we're gonna say a lot in this round. We are gonna say a lot that we want boss to turn purple. Because purple means we can reflect, yellow means we can't reflect. Another very core mechanic of this game. So yeah, we didn't get a dashing boss there, which is a little sad, but we're still on very fine pace. Very fine pace for a marathon run where I go through things. The next stage is one of the most visually impressive stages to play, actually, because we are gonna see a lot of the dash resetting I was talking about earlier. There's an entire tunnel we are gonna have very soon coming up. After the first boss here, which is a kitty chopper, we are already seeing a little taste of what to come there. The tunnel is pretty insane though. It's one of the most visually appealing parts of watching this run. Kitty Chopper has a couple of moves What we don't want is it flying away like that. Because it goes off screen. It can actually go behind the screen there in a weird... I hope we don't see it happen, but we can't see it happen. I won't see it happen. But it can go away behind the screen, and then it has so many frames you can't damage it. The boss in this game, basically what you want to avoid in this game is the bosses being in place where you can't shoot at them. You want their purple, you don't want it to be unshootable. Here's the tunnel I was speaking about. If you're doing it well, like I didn't do there, you can dash reset through this entire tunnel, but that's fine. That's fine. It's actually one of the most... It's one of the rougher parts of the run, actually, from a movement perspective, but it's also one of the most satisfying to get, and one of the most fun parts of this run to get every time. Because the movement in this game is so fun due to all the dash reset thing you're gonna see, and it adds so much to the routing of this game. Because routing in this game doesn't come up to simply being about shortest path from point A to point B, but also taking these dash resets into account because they save a lot of time. That was a beautiful, beautiful movement there. I did not think we could get that one that perfectly. That part right there is actually, in my opinion, way harder than the tunnel. It's way shorter, so you get way less punished for failing it, but it's way rougher to get due to the very, very different heights you have to get through. So there we go, picture perfect. So this is the first time we're gonna see Valentine, who is the main antagonist of this game. Her goal is literally to become the greatest supervillain of all time. So she obviously has to defeat the greatest hero of all time to become that. She has 3 main attacks. First, that car, which is the worst one. It's the hardest one to reflect and takes the longest time, I think, to take care of. Then she can shoot a laser, which I hope we're gonna see now. There it is. Which one of the easier mechanics to take care of. It's a pretty simple mechanic. And the last one is she gonna destroy some cars and throw the dust up on the car. Here we go. Perfect for a run. We get to see all 3 of her mechanics. That's beautiful. And she was quickly disposed of. One of the easier bosses. You are not gonna die to her, but if you fail a mechanic, she's gonna hit the car with the yellow hair guy in it. And that loses a lot of time. So it's a very scary run. A very scary boss either way, where any mistake will punish you greatly. It's thankfully very hard to fail at any of the mechanics except for the pink cars. Those are very easy to mess up, especially when you're new to the game. Even on easy, it's easy to mess it up. So this is a very good part to play some donations if there are any, because this is gonna be an outer scroller for a little while. And outer scroll is over. We're gonna have a very fine outer scroller after this fight again, though.
As of right now, Paul was the last donation, but if you want to donate to Extra Life, Texas Children's Hospital, type in donate or exclamation point donate in chat, and that will get you all the information you need. And remember, if you do a minimum of $5 donation, you will apply for the prize shrines.
There we go. So that was our first boss of this stage, Red. She is a very easy boss on this difficult level, but she scales up very much upon the higher difficulty levels, I can tell you that. Her entire thing is you want purple stuff to reflect. But up next is one of the worst bosses of this run. This is literally the worst boss coming up right here. One of them. And that's Ninja. He's very rough boss. He's not gonna look that rough because I press him a lot, but he is a rough one. Basically, he has 2 phases. The first one is this phase when he turns purple and you have to reflect him, and this is the second phase. I'm gonna use a little exploit here to allow me to attack him, but with a sword there. If you are not doing it like this and shoot at him, he's going to reflect your bullets. So he's a very rough boss, and it took a very long time until it was discovered that you can actually just do the sword thing on him. He used to be a way longer boss. That discovery saved a lot of time on this run, actually, because it allowed us to skip all of the animations where we couldn't hit him. We're gonna see a similar trick at the very end of the run with the yellow head guy. Spoiler alert. You can see a very similar exploit there on that boss to avoid a very specific mechanic. That's way harder than that one. It's not as vital, but it's still very good to get. So here up is Rex Rocket, who's shooting a lot of platforms on us that we can jump on. This boss could easily kill us simply by not shooting at us at all, but he's not gonna do that apparently. Because that would be poor game design, I guess. So what we want here is purple rockets. We are not getting any of those, it seems, but we're getting purple shoots, which is kinda good enough. But if we get purple rockets, we can reflect them on him for major damage. I'm gonna say that a lot. Purple equal major damage. That's kinda the deal in this game. And up next is the launch. It has a very interesting part to it that we are gonna come up to very soon after the first boss, which is Chef Spammer. Chef Spammer is a very easy boss here, but it has a lot of potential time save. The core of this boss is simple enough, he's gonna shoot a lot of stuff, but we are gonna use speedrun strats. So we are jumping up there to destroy all of those things, to clean up the boss for his main mechanics, which are 3 total. The first one is the spinning one, and the second one is he's gonna suck up all of those things, and the third one is he's gonna shoot out 2 bullets that we can reflect. 2 purple ones, there we go. We didn't get time to do it though because we were so fast. We basically always want him to first do the purple ones because it's purple. Purple is the best color in this game. You want all the purple stuff you can get. And the second one we want is on easy, it's very different because you actually prefer this one where he sucks up things over the spinning around thing, because you can actually quite easily avoid the boss doing things. But this is, right here, is one of the scary parts of the run. Not because it's hard, but because a single mistake here is gonna cost you like 13 seconds. This is an auto-scroller section, but if you get hit this auto-scroller, the entire auto-scroller is gonna slow down and have to rebuild its momentum again, and that takes so much time. It's unless you have seen it happen, you are not really understanding how much time it actually loses. So up next is the boss gauntlet. We're gonna fight 4 bosses, 3 of which are relatively easy. Guppy doesn't need much of explanation. We want him to go down and turn purple basically, that's all there is. Next boss after that is gonna be a couple of worms, who we want to always be shooting at, despite him going in a little bow. That's like an aiming exercise more than anything, but they have a couple of mechanics that they can do. We want them to basically... We want purple stuff basically, same as always. Isn't too much to say about these bosses. If we get... Here we go, we can get purple now. Yeah, this is what we want. Here we see a lot of purple, this is exactly what we want. As stated before, purple is good. Yellow is bad, because we can't reflect yellow. We are on a fine pace, by the way, and up next is Robo White, who's probably the hardest boss in the game. From a speedrunner perspective, from a casual perspective, it's actually pretty chill. The boss is spinning around, but you can only shoot him at where he has the opening, so you have to spin around with him. The intended way to fight him is actually to wait until he shoots it away, but if we are speedrunners, we don't have time for that. Next up is Robo Bunny, who is a very easy boss, but she can be very punishing if you are failing her. You basically shoot at her and try to kill her. You want her to die on the second cycle, because otherwise it's very rough to kill her before the third cycle. And that loses time, obviously. But we had very perfect run here. We had a very solid split here. Would surprise me if this... Yeah, it was a gold. It was a gold. Very good split there. Fantastic split. Up next is the hardest stage of the run, the warship. It's hard because it has a lot of very rough sections to it. It also hosts the game's absolutely worst RNG check. We have seen a lot of RNG so far with purple, but none of that RNG even compares to what's coming up at the final boss here. Final boss here is gonna be... I'm gonna talk about it as we get here, as this boss is also very interesting to talk about. The segment slider. Works very similar to the Yellow Devil in Mega Man. gonna shoot away those things, and I'm gonna have to shoot at him while the core is exposed. It's pretty random how long the core will be exposed, because it's random what segments he shoots and how many shoots at a time. So far we had pretty okay RNG on this part. Can be worse, can be better. Let's see here. This is okay. It's an okay run. Very okay run. Coming up next is an anti-gravity section, where we are going to float around a little bit. And the next boss fight is also gonna be in this floaty state, which means we have infinite dashes. So we don't have to worry about dash resetting anymore for a couple of minutes. Get a little hit there, not very nice too much. This is a very simple boss. Stay close, reflect all purples, hope for purple walls. Pretty standard here. Dodge the bombs and go back in. The reason why we are staying so close in the boss and hitting with katana is twofold. Basically, you do a little more damage by doing it, but it's also for us to more easily be able to return all the purple shoots he's gonna shoot at us. So here's phase 2 of this fight. What we want here is a free cycle kill. It's pretty easy to get, but it's gonna demand us to do well, because we can only shoot at the boss where the core is exposed. So it demands once again a little bit of aiming. Let's see if we can get a full clean here. It would be so cool to get in a marathon run. Oh, we didn't. Only get a half clean, but that's good enough. You can basically clean up that entire boss there and have it entirely empty. Which means you really don't have to worry about those pedals at all after it does that mechanic, which is good as that mechanic is actually a time loss because it takes so long for it to happen. And up next is... This is where most of the rounds in this game are dying, by the way, at this very screen. It's not as much of a problem easy as in the other difficult levels. And that's this bubble section. It's pretty easy and easy because all of these bubbles contains purple bullets, and that's part of the reason why I think it's a very beginner-friendly category. But on the other difficult levels, some of the bubbles contains yellow stuff, which you can't reflect, so you can take a hit there, and once you take a hit in the bubble section, you are going to get out of the loop, which can heavily punish you. And here's the RNG check. What we want here is no bullets and all Pac-Mans. You will see what I mean by that whenever it happens. Neither would be okay, but we don't want bullets. Oh, there is Pac-Man. The bullets lose a lot of time because they are slow animation. Oh, we got the yellow one, but still better than no Pac-Man. And we got no bullets. This is a very much a live run now. The bullets is basically the boss turning into a lot of bullets going in at you, and you have to reflect all of those bullets to do a little bit of damage. The problem with that mechanic is that it means the boss has a lot of invulnerability frames, and the mechanic takes so long to complete. And you do very little damage during that mechanic. It was a very good warship, by the way. Very good. Smiley face for that. Up next, oh my, another gold. Up next is the showdown. This is basically our showdown with the final boss of the game, kinda. The main antagonist, Valentine. And she's not, I already spoiled it, but she is going to fight now to prove that she's the best villain of all time by destroying Brim, who is the greatest hero of all time. Because that's how you prove that you are the best in this world, basically. As was the topic of Bleed 1, where Brim basically became the best hero in the world by killing all other heroes. This fight has four phases to it. First two are not too bad, but this third one is very interesting. She's gonna start teleporting all around, which is a pretty rough phase. We should also jump down to prepare for a thing here. We are gonna do an animation skip very soon. I'm gonna explain it as we get there. It's after the third phase. So there we go, we have enough health now to do it. We are basically going to do a death skip very soon to skip an animation that's very long. Here's the infamous phase 3. He's gonna shoot that bullet, shoot that laser at us, and we're gonna have to stop her before she shoots it. Don't have to. There is a strategy that you don't do it and just let her shoot it, but that's way slower and way less damage than the intended way. So yeah, there we go. This is a very good battle free fight, by the way. This is how we always want them. And now we're gonna do the death animation. The death animation skip works like this. We're gonna jump down till we have 1 health point left. And once we see her starting to rise above the ground, boom, we jump down. We do this to skip an animation that's gonna happen there that's very, very long and go straight to phase 4. On this phase, we are actually gonna use a taunt. Because previously if we used taunt, it was gonna hurt us. We are gonna do a stun lock here. If you don't do it like this, he's gonna float around you. Basically gonna have to do it way, way longer. The fight's gonna take way, way longer. But there we go. Very shortly disposed of. This part is way harder than I make it look. It's very punishing to fail it. It's very, very punishing if you start to fail it, because it's such a hard run. It's such a hard thing to get down. And if you fail it, it's instantly 10 seconds behind the timer. And here comes the spoiler I talked about earlier. This isn't the end of the game, even though the final villain is defeated. What's gonna happen now is that the rival wants a rematch from the first game, where we stole the title from him of being the best hero of all time after he basically glory hogged us, a way of our glory of killing all the heroes, which was actually good for him, but more about that in, I believe, one running future. Because this is basically here, the goal is that he wants his glory back. But for Brayden, she only wants one thing. She wants to play video games with rival. So they made a bet. If she wins, they're gonna go home and play video games for the rest of their lives, basically. So there we go. There we go. And here it comes in his big whale core. This is one of the bosses in the game with the most health. It's basically just a health tank, but on easy it doesn't matter too much, because everything has very low health on easy. But it starts to become way more noticeable on higher difficulty levels. The goal here is to reflect as many purple rockets as possible. I know it sounds cool. I know it sounds repetitive at this point, but that's basically all the boss fights in this game is. Dodge things and reflect purple. Because it deals so much extra damage. And that was bad. We don't want that because it gives him a lot of invulnerability to frames, which is not what we want. And he's down. Very quick kill indeed. We now have 3 bosses left. First part here is we're gonna go down. Fighting against another little machine here. What we want here is purple rockets, so we can reflect them. There we go, big purple rockets, that's what we want. Purple lasers we sadly can't reflect. You would think that we could reflect them, but we can't. We can reflect these though. Oh, perfect RNG here. Oh my, I've never seen RNG like this before on this fight. We basically got 2 purple rockets, which is very rare there. And now we're gonna do the mole core. We're gonna basically digging here. We're gonna start doing a digging section. Have to dig a certain amount in, so the boss starts up here. This fight is one of the most fun fights in the game, in my opinion, because the entire goal of this fight is to build up a battle arena in which you have the advantage by basically cleaning things up. What we want here is for the boss to turn purple and dash at us. Repetitive, I know. But that's how this game is. Purple and reflect purple. Sadly, it's not gonna happen this round. But that's fine. We are still in a fantastic pace here. Still very much on time, I think. And the boss is down, and now it's only the final boss left, the rival. The health situation is looking a little sketchy, so we might not do the trick I was talking about earlier too much, but I'm gonna try to do it a little bit, just to show it off. So here we want the rival to shoot purple balls at us and basically turn purple. It's a repetition of before, but he has way more mechanics than most other bosses in this game. The most annoying, which is this katana right here. So we are basically doing the same strat here as we did on the Ninja, but we are doing it on a moving boss. Because he's gonna reflect all bullets we shoot at him. So we basically gonna have to do katana spam on him to do damage while he does that. It's a very risky mechanic, but it saves so much time compared to not... Oh, I missed the purple. No more katana threat for us, by the way, because our health is way too low. It's very hard to do that one without losing health. Purple ball. Perfect. Tennis game. Hope he doesn't turn. Yeah, he didn't turn on swords. Perfect. Have a very solid runner, and soon gonna say it. That was it. Time. That was Bleed 2. Very short and very action-filled game. I'm sorry if I didn't have enough time to speak about all the bosses, but there are so many bosses in this game and they are so close to one another, so it's very hard to get time to explain all of the mechanics. But I hope it went well. There we are. That was the run.
Just thought I'd let you know 23-4.
What did you say?
$23.43.
Oh. Yeah, that's a pretty good run.
Someone in the chat says that is a new record.
Yeah, it is. It was a pretty good run. So that's some world record hype, I guess. Oh, did not think the run went that well. But yeah, thank you everyone for watching this run. It's a very good run. And I hope I explained it good enough for you, so you can run it yourself. Let's see some credits here, and yeah, that was a run.
All right, congratulations to Firesplitter. Sounds like, unofficially for right now, but it sounds like a new world record on Bleed 2. That is the third world record that we have set this weekend on Decent Speedies. Congratulations. Up next for you, we have We Happy Few right after a quick intermission. And we also want to get in a donation that was made during that run. Hunga Entertainment with $10 says, just so you've got something to read the next time Fire asks. Unfortunately, we got a little bit into the game, so there was no more opportunity during the game, but right afterwards is just as good, and thank you so much for the $10 donation. That puts us up to $366 for the event.